In today's video, we're going to talk about credit card debt. We're going to talk about what happens after the 180-day period when they charge off your credit card debt. One of the main frustrations with people, and I'm going to get into the details of it in this video, is that they're trying to figure out a solution when their cards go bad, like right either during that period of time when the account gets closed down, and then right at that 180-day period when it gets charged off, and they're just like, what can I do? And it makes a lot of frustration because they'll call the company, they'll try to work out stuff, and there's only certain options that are available. And I'm going to go into detail why those options are like that. But first, before we start, I want to talk about some news that I got today. And from this was the charge off for the fourth, or from quarter 2022 to first quarter of 2023, that the charge offs are actually down. So with all of the stuff that's supposedly going on in our economy, with credit card debt being over $1 trillion, and I'm going to talk about something on that too, with all of that that's supposedly going on with the economy, with the job losses, with income, and all of these different things that we hear on the news, that the charge off rate is actually lower than it used to be. And there was really only two banks that had a high, like way over. Here's my little chart. You see those lines there? Two banks. Synchrony Bank was way up there. Now, I have my suspicions of why Synchrony Bank is way up there. It's because they're spread out. They're diversified with a whole bunch of different department store cards. So when you spread that out and you're approving people based off of what someone else's your client is willing to want to have approved, and they're just trying to get those department store cards all over the place, department store credit cards all over the place. You're gonna have a higher level, and a lot of these are subprime type cards that are being approved. And then the next one is Discover Card, which I don't really understand that one. I'm going to do a little bit more research on why would Discover Card have a higher charge-off rate, so much higher. If you look at my chart there, it's like in the middle of where Synchrony is. And then all of these here that are a lot lower, you have U.S. Bank Act, their charge-off rates went down, like they had a lower amount, and then you had PNC Bank, theirs went down. Key Bank was only a little bit, Wells Fargo a little bit, Truist a little bit, Ally a little bit, Fifth Third a little bit, Regions, Bank of America, Citizens, M&T Bank, JP Morgan Chase. All of those were just really flatlined with the charge-offs, the net charge-off. So it was about, it said that the net charge-off rate about 4.5%, but Discover rose 29% for the same period that they had. So they had a net of 2.7% increase. Everyone else was kind of low. And then Synchrony 30-day delinquency rate was 3.81%, while its 90-day rate was only 1.87%. And Discover's delinquency rate for 30 to 90 days, 2.48% and 1.14%. Now the net profits of credit card companies, $182 billion for the first 6 months of this year of 2023, $182 billion. So you might be saying, okay, I know that they charge all these interest rates. I know it's sky high, people making minimum payments. That's how they're making all of their money. This is how this could be happening. If you got delinquency rates, people not able to pay, you got charge-offs, all of this stuff that is all in the mix. How are these credit card companies able to make money? Well, one day I'm going to reveal to you one of the biggest profit centers that credit card companies don't want you to know about. I don't even know if you're ready for that. Are they ready? They ready for that? Y'all ain't ready for that. But I'm gonna give you a little hint. When a company can make money without you knowing how they make money, they make way more money because all of us have it internally on the inside. I even know this from dealing with customers with all of my companies, is that sometimes people just don't want to give people their money. And so what companies do is they have smart people that will put together a program that will actually make you think that they're not making any money and they're making a ton of money. One of the biggest examples of that is Google. Look at what they did. Look at what the bureaus did. Look at what all of these companies have done where they've used our personal information. Now, I'm not going to get into it in this video, but there is a form of that is a huge profit center for credit card companies. And a lot of people don't even know about it. That's why these companies, no matter what, they're going to be raking in billions of dollars per year. And I would even say, with the way that things are going right now, that will probably quadruple over the next few years, because what they're doing to make profits on the side is actually where we're going, as is where the business world is going. All right, so let's get into it. A charge-off. Is where your account, it's a non-performing account. This is a legal term in an accounting entry that states that your account is 180 days of no payment. It is required by the banking regulators for a credit card company to, and really for any non-performing accounts where it's a company that is public, that they have to put that on the books and say that that account is no longer performing, because they have to be true about their accounting. They can't be out there lying saying that these accounts are good when they're bad. So when you don't make payments for 180 days, now the account could be closed before that, but once it's 180 days of no payments straight in a row, the account is going to be charged off. Now, this is where a lot of the frustration starts for people. That's why I wanted to make this video, is because this is a huge frustration factor for people when their account is charged off and they are trying to get something done and they're like, why can't I do anything? Why can't I even try to give them my money? Like, did you know that with some companies, you can have all of the money, and once that account goes to that 180 days and they do that charge off, that you could come to them with a stack of cash or a check or a money order or whatever you have, and that they would not be able to take the money. Some people think that that is crazy, but that can happen. And there's plenty of people who have commented on videos where they had said that they wanted to go take care of the debt and it had charged off and they were not able to pay the company. So a lot of people are wondering, why does that happen? Well, number one, every company has their own process. So, and that's what also makes it frustrating, because companies like American Express, Discover, Capital One, those types of companies have a process where you can get into where you can do a settlement, or you can talk to them about, figuring out something with it after that charge-off period. But most credit card companies, well, all of them have their own process, but most credit card companies are going to put it into a holding status. And in that holding status is going to be one of two things. They either have their own internal collection team, which is if it's a credit card company, they are going to hire a company to call you, because it is against the banking regulation rules for a credit card company to have their own quote unquote debt collection department. They have a collections department before it hits this process here of the 180 days. But after it charges off, you will start to have calls from an outside collection company. Now, not to say that if you live in certain states that they would be able to call you. In my state of Wisconsin, you cannot be a credit card company or finance company and also be a debt collection company. You would have to register your company as a debt collection company, and there's a whole bunch of stipulations under being a debt collector, and that's why you'll have a company either hire someone or they will split off and make a whole nother debt collection company in our state. They cannot be the same. It would have to be totally different. And you would want it that way because if someone messed around and made a call or did something wrong, you don't want to have the whole company sued. You would only want to have your debt collection department, your debt collection company sued. So they're either going to have an internal collection team, which is who they will hire, or they will sell it to a debt collector after that. But this is the thing that frustrates people, is that during that period of time, that holding period, and it's going to be sold to a debt collector, there is like nothing that can be done, because that you could call them and they will say, we don't own your account. And you would be like, who owns the account? No, we don't know who owns the account yet. They don't say it that way, but it's because they don't know who's going to own it yet, because it's going to be put on the market to a portfolio company like Resurgent, LVNV Funding, those companies. They're going to bid on that portfolio, and then it's going to take sometimes up to 6 months to a year before they even contact you about that. And people get frustrated because they're like, okay, I want to pay this money. Why don't you go ahead and just take this money? Why don't you just take this money? Excuse me, I still have that cold. And so this is what I tell people to do, and this is what we do for our clients. During this holding period of time, what you can do, and I don't have any internal insights on why this can happen, because if they're going to plan on selling it, why can't they make a move on taking the money? But they could actually take a move on doing a hardship. 1099-C. We always hear about that. Not where you tell them to take a 1099-C. It's where you tell them about your hardship. And I think that the reason why that happens, let me tell you the reason why it happens, is that all of these creditors, the credit card companies, they have to have a department that will listen to your hardship and try to resolve the situation. And I think what happens, from experience of dealing with clients, is that when it goes into this holding phase, is that they have their processes in place to either do one of the two. They're either going to try to collect on it, and it's basically American Express, Discover, Capital One, Barclays, and Discover, if I didn't say that. Those are the ones that are going to usually use an internal, and you can still do a hardship. You can still get a 1099-C, but it would also go into a settlement phase, or where you can work out a deal with them. But if they're planning on selling the debt, and you won't know, but you can kind of pick up on it, because they'll say things like, we don't know, we can't do anything with this account, we don't own it anymore, and you haven't been contacted by someone who owns it. So it's like in that gray area, and people get frustrated, they get upset. It's like, I want to pay this debt. Well, we can't take the money on that anymore. But you can submit that hardship to them, and for some reason, it could get to the department, and that they could end up doing a 1099-C on that debt. And I believe that that's why some of the times, and we've had this, and this is what I instruct everybody to do, is that we will tell people, even if they didn't do a hardship, we tell people to still call the IRS, because they could have filed a 1099-C without you knowing it. We've had plenty of clients where we just said, hey, they were either getting sued or they got letters from debt collectors like, what? It's been a long time. I don't know what's going on with this. And they're like, okay, we'll do a debt validation. And then after, one of our clients had got two of them from American Express, and I have it on my website as showing you the proof. 2 1099-Cs, cancellation of debt from American Express. We were like, what, did they even tell you that they were going to do it? You know, how did this happen? And he was like, it just out of the blue. And it came a year later. So we started telling all of our clients, hey, you got credit card debt. You need, and really with any of these national finance companies, you need to call the IRS to see if they filed a 1099-C. And what we started doing is that our clients that are in this situation, and we're going to start offering a service for this where we will just submit the hardships to all of your credit card company providers, because I think that this is a good path if you make that hardship letter the right way. But the companies will take that hardship and that they could actually submit a 1099-C cancellation of debt. And you might be saying, well, why would they do that? And it's nothing about any secret bank account or anything. It's because they're making money off of you in a way that you don't even know how they're making money. And it's not by some secret account. They're actually making money with other businesses off of you. So I think that this is one of the reasons. Also, I have a suspicion that depending on how many payments you've made, how long of a client you've been with them, that 1099-Cs from hardships are either taken with more weight, or if you're not a long-time client, that the 1099-Cs possibility is a lot lower. That's not any insider. That's just from what I've seen from clients. Like, it just seems that the ones that have paid and they were very good clients, ran into either financial or medical situations, but they have been paying for years, very good, very faithful client, that they ended up with their hardship express getting a 1099-C. And again, the 1099-C cancellation of debt is not something that you initiate. It's in a way you initiate it by the hardship, but it's up to them to provide it. You can't force a company to do that. But a lot of people get frustrated because it's sitting here in this holding pattern. And they're like, I want to do something about it. Maybe you're trying to buy a home and you got to get that credit card situated, and you're like, they're not taking any money for their account because they're saying that the account has been sold to someone else. So it causes a lot of frustration with people. And we've had to do a lot of hard work with people who were looking at buying a home on getting that information removed due to non-compliance, due to uncertainty of who is the owner of the account. Because if they say that they don't own the account, how can anything be verified about the account anymore if they're not willing to release any records or anything regarding the account? So if you are in this situation, you have a charge off, you just hit that 180-day period, just keep in mind every credit card company has their own process. Any finance company is going to have their own process, and it's up to them. It is different for each company. It's going to go into a holding pattern. During that holding pattern, one of two things can happen: internal collection, depending on which type of credit card company or finance company it is, depending on what state you live in. They may not be able to directly be the debt collector. They have to hire out someone to collect the debt. American Express, they hire out a company to collect their debts, but they hold it internally. You would be able to move for hardship, 1099-C, and settlement in that situation. If it's sold to a portfolio company, it's going to be a little bit longer wait, because you're going to have to see who is going to be the new owner of that debt. And then you're going to get that debt collection letter. But during that period of time, you can go ahead, submit your hardship to them, because I've seen the companies react to that, and they've given 1099-Cs based on that. And again, I see this happening more for people who are long-time, good paying customers for the credit card company and just ran onto financial hard times or medical type issue. All right, if you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. You need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com to grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports and all 3 scores. If you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my 3-pack of letters, statute of limitations, cease and desist collection activities letter, and debt validation letter. Use the one that is appropriate for your situation. Instructions are on there. I do ask for a donation on those, but it can save you time, money, frustration if you could stop a debt collector and you can stop them from taking your money. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe to the channel. Post your questions and comments. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and Founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.